It's Tuesday, July 7th. Let's take a look at a key development in Korea's industry sector.
Sounds good.
So imagine watching a fortress being dismantled, like brick by brick. For decades, Korea's domestic EV market was this, untouchable stronghold for local brands.
Yeah, completely locked down.
Right. But today, we're looking at how aggressive foreign pricing just brought those walls down and where billions in capital are fleeing as a result.
Exactly. For you Korea supply chain analysts tuning in, we're tracking a massive structural pivot. The domestic market is shifting from a two-way contest into a multi-brand race, and heavy industry is pushing into AI-driven infrastructure globally.
Okay, let's unpack this. But real quick before we dive into the mechanics, a quick disclaimer. This deep dive provides no buy or sell advice for the hashtag CoSPI. We are strictly mapping out the terrain for you.
Right, just laying out the facts.
But looking at the EV market, it feels less like a walled garden now. It's more like Korea's domestic market was a high-end country club, and Tesla just knocked the gates down to open a discount superstore.
Tesla sold 56,139 EVs in the first half, narrowing the gap with Hyundai's 39,575.
Wow. I mean, that is a tight gap. But what about Kia?
Kia lifted its Korea EV market share to 36.2% this half.
Okay, so they're holding some ground. But then there is the wider picture with imports, right?
A 33.9% share of Korea's market was held by Chinese-made EVs in 2025, as domestic EV shares slipped to 57.2%.
33%. That is a massive wake-up call. A third of the pie just vanishing to foreign EVs.
Yeah, it really is.
And they are leveraging this ruthless battery cost-cutting, just slashing prices. It's bleeding domestic margins dry, which completely explains the pivot we're seeing in other sectors.
Oh, absolutely.
If your traditional cash cows are suddenly low-margin bloodbaths, you don't just sit there. You flee to where the capital flows freely, right? You diversify abroad into high-margin global tech infrastructure.
Samsung Heavy Industries set its first public deadline for floating data center commercialization for Q2 2028.
Wait, floating data centers? Why put a data center on the water? Is that just like a sci-fi gimmick?
Well, no.
Actually, wait, it makes perfect sense. AI data centers run incredibly hot, so putting them on the ocean bypasses astronomical land costs and uses the surrounding seawater as a natural infinite cooling system.
Exactly.
They're leveraging their shipbuilding infrastructure to solve Silicon Valley's physical AI bottlenecks. But what about Hanwha?
Hanwha Solutions will supply 200 megawatts of solar capacity for a meta-linked project in Indiana.
Okay, so the big conglomerates are escaping to these blue ocean tech projects. But how do lower-tier vendors survive these massive capital shifts?
It is definitely a squeeze.
Yeah, if I'm a Tier 3 parts manufacturer, I'm terrified of getting caught in the wake of this transition.
LG's extended 10-day cash payment guarantee provides vital liquidity to second and third-tier vendors starting this week.
That is a huge lifeline.
LG expanded its shared growth fund to 900 billion won, or roughly 640 million US dollars.
Great, 640 million US dollars injected that quickly. That tells me this isn't just corporate charity. I mean, it's defensive panic. They're actively trying to prevent a supply chain collapse.
Yeah.
So what is the bottom line for the analysts listening today?
Earlier, we noted Tesla closed within 16,564 units of Hyundai, signaling Korea's domestic auto supply chain is entering a highly contested phase. However, Samsung Heavy Industries and Hanwha Solutions show an opposite trend, strengthening Korea's global position by diversifying into data center and U.S. renewable infrastructure. For U.S. supply chain managers, LG's 10-day payment guarantee removes vendor liquidity bottlenecks even as competitive pressure builds at the finished vehicle level.
Which leaves you with a critical scenario to monitor moving forward. How exactly will this domestic supply chain react when BYD's subsidy equivalent pricing ends in late July? And when the dust settles, can Hyundai's upcoming Genesis GV90 launch actually reclaim that lost market share? The fortress walls are down and the turf war has just begun.
It certainly has.
That's today's AI PRISM Industry Daily. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI PRISM is a Juan Ifra award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.